नमस्कारः। महर्षि पाणिनि संस्कृत वैदिक विश्वविद्यालयस्य चतुर्थ दिनांत समारोहे उपस्थिताः मध्यप्रदेश शासनस्य उच्चशिक्षा मन्त्रिणः माननीय डॉक्टर मोहन यादव महोदयः, समारोहस्य अध्यक्षः माननीय आचार्य विजयकुमार सीजी महोदयः, संसदस्य माननीय श्री अनिल विरोसिया महोदयः, विधायक वर्यः माननीय श्री पारसचंद्र जैन महोदयः, महर्षि पतंजलि संस्कृत संस्थानस्य अध्यक्षः माननीय श्री भरत वैराग्य महोदयः, कार्यपरिषदः सदस्याः, विद्यापरिषदः सदस्याः, संघाध्यक्षाः, आचार्याः, प्रिय छात्राः, अहम् अस्मिन् अवसरे भवतां संवर्षां अभिनन्दनं करोमि। अहं प्रिय छात्राणां विशेषरूपेण अभिनन्दनं वर्धापनं च करोमि ये बुद्धि उपाधिना अलङ्करिष्यन्ते। मम सौभाग्यं यत् भगवतः श्री महाकालेश्वरस्य दर्शनस्य पूजनस्य च अवसरः लब्धः। मम अग्रिमं भाषणम् आङ्ग्लभाषाया कथयन्तु इच्छामि। I would like to speak the rest of my speech in English, so bear with me. Thank you for inviting to this great university to see the power of Sanskrit. Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages in the world with a rich repertoire of knowledge in the domain of poetry, logic, grammar, philosophy, aesthetics, science, technology, mathematics, and other allied subjects. And contributions in the area of all this which I mentioned has made extensive imprints in the minds of all those who have gone through this and realize the Indian scholars who have made it so popular that it survives even today. Maharshi Panini Sanskrit Evam Vedic Vishwavidyalaya was established precisely for the promotion of the Sanskrit language in 2008 by the government of Madhya Pradesh. Though the motto of the university is to promotion and proliferation of the Sanskrit language and literature, and it is take appropriate measures to promote interdisciplinary studies, innovative research in this university. India surely so it enjoys a place and pride in the cradle of the abiding world of cultures and civilizations. Its ancient literature, mostly rendered in Sanskrit, is extremely rich in its original philosophical thought. It's equally opulent in scientific inquiry. Today, your Honorable Vice Chancellor has just declared Sanskrit as a language for science. To be precise, ancient India as a knowledge society in the area of various aspects, which includes intellectual pursuit in the areas of mathematics, medicine, metaphysics, astronomy, and the Sanskrit Shastric literature has been very copious repository of scientific and technological studies since the Vedic times. A notable feature of the scientific temper of these days was integration with the spiritual and the cultural aspect of life. So there were no separation between culture, spiritual studies as well as scientific studies. So you can see them all merged in one in the poetic language that has been spread through the Sanskrit literature that's available. So it was for a noble cause of the human happiness. So in the modern science world, I think we can understand that all these are created out of those thought processes that existed thousands of years back. If you look through the journey of our Indian culture, you can see that imprints of the contribution of scientists of those times that was expressed in the language of Sanskrit through ages. In any area, astrology, astronomy, mineralogy, atmospheric sciences, biological sciences, medicine, physics, chemical sciences, aeronautical sciences in which I am connected in some way. So, only point is that though this knowledge has been there, it is not fully exploited to an extent or is not fully researched. And I am very sure that the action that you are taking today to invite people like me to talk about science and Sanskrit will help you to take a next step in showing that this language can easily be used for conveying scientific thought and the and the process of science in that beautiful language. I think that's the next step that we need to take. Sanskrit's potential as a scientific use was greatly enhanced as a result of the work of Panini, the great work of Panini, and he has created, just out of the 4,000 sutras, virtually the whole structure of the Sanskrit was created, and it remains stable for next 22,000 years. I think that's what you are studying even today. And this is the structure of the language that gives us such a high value today, that look at from the scientific point of view, that it is created out of logic and structure. Many other languages don't have that capability. I come from a domain of science and technology. I am a rocket scientist. I have been building rockets. So when I look at this journey of language in Sanskrit and the rocket science, the aeronautics that connects them, I'm really fascinated many a times by the work of great scholars and that they have created such great books. The very first book which I come across in Sanskrit, which talks about the domain which I am familiar with, is the Surya Siddhanta. Many of you would have known about this book. And this is the book specifically talks about the solar system, the sun, the planets, and how the planets move around the sun, the periodicity of this movement, the time scales which are involved, the size of this, the whole structure, even the size of the earth. Even to think that your earth is a sphere, it has a diameter, it has a circumference. I think all these thoughts that happened there that time, it didn't stay here. It traveled all the way through the Arabic travelers. It went to Europe, and thousands of years later, the knowledge came back to us in the form of discovery by the great scientists of the Western world. Though it was all found out here, it was written down in this language, and today we know that it has been created. Varaha Mihira, through his Pancha Siddhanta, we know much about it today. Lagadha, in the 1500 year BC, he has created the Vedanga Jyotisha. Aryabhata's work 1, Varaha Mihira's works, Bhaskara 1 and 2. Brahmagupta, it created the Brahmasputa Siddhanta, again a scientific work. Parameshwara and many others in Kerala, where I am coming from, wrote the Gola Deepika, which is again a very interesting book on astronomy. You know that many of the literature written in terms of the ideas like zero. If you subtract 1 from the 1, you get 0, Shunya, the concept of Shunya. And equally important is the concept of infinity. I think both of these are the findings of those great rishis, expressed in very beautiful poetic ways. Even you know the algebra, the concept, the mathematical concepts called algebra, the square root of numbers, very precisely expressed. Even Bodhayana equated to Pythagoras theorem. You know, Bodhayana was living in during 800 BC. Pythagoras came much later, and he expressed that for a right angle triangle, how the connections between sides are expressed beautifully in the concept of areas. Though he was not talking about square, but he was talking about areas. It's exactly the same theorem of Pythagoras, expressed in beautifully in Sanskrit in 2 sentences. You can read that and understand the beauty of it. Many other concepts like the concept of Vimana, architecture, the construction technologies, the concept of time, which is beautifully expressed in many literature, the structure of the universe and how it evolves and grows bigger and bigger with the time, metallurgy and manufacturing, chemical technologies, medicines, treatment, languages, the structure of the grammar, shastras like Nyaya, law, Sangeet, Tala, spirituality, philosophy, yoga, temple, astrology, and all of this were expressed beautifully in the language of Sanskrit. But the difficulty that is faced by the scientists at that time was this language was expressed more in Shruti and not in written form. And because of this Shruti nature of learning and teaching, the Sanskrit attained a beautiful nature that it is very easy to listen and by heart it, unlike many other languages. And that's why it survived. And today you don't need it. Today you can write it and express it. You don't need that Shruti structure, which is the beauty of this language. It's a rule-based, formula-based and logical syntax. For people like us who are engineers, scientists, like it very much. Any language which is rule-based, syntax-based is something that suits into computer languages. And you know, computer people who are especially working in the artificial intelligence, machine learning, they like Sanskrit. And there is a lot of research being done how Sanskrit can be used for bringing into computation, natural language processing. And I want to tell you, people who are taking Sanskrit as a profession, as a living, you must look at it how this can now work in the domain of technology. And it is not the old literature and science that we must propagate. It is more importantly how we can use Sanskrit, the language for conveying the messages of modern technology and science. Then only it will survive. It must become the language of the spoken and the language of the top people who will be able to communicate in this language. I understand the Maharishi Pani University is one of the leading university with a lot of enthusiasm today. I think the transformation has really happened. A lot of departments, now new departments are coming into the university, the graduation and post-graduation has come in, and diploma and certificate courses are there in this university in literature and various other domains. The university is not only teaching the traditional courses, it is also offering courses in yoga, Nyaya Shastra, Advaita Vedanta. Education department is really strong here. I could see many young people who are taking graduation in education. I think all of this shows that there is a new energy in this university. As your Vice Chancellor just mentioned, it's not only going to be just a university locally, it is going to be a university which is well known in this country and in the world as much. I am very sure about it. And the support that this university is getting from the government, the Honorable Minister, the Chief Minister and the entire government to create its new infrastructure, new courses and make you to grow in size and prominence, I think is really most welcome. Thank you so much for the encouragement that you are giving to this university. And it's not only teaching you some language and structure, but it's also helping you to grow in personality, in people who have ready to influence the world. I think the type of conferences and workshops that you are conducting here, the other voluntary activities that are taking place in this university really make me feel that you are doing the right thing to create new set of leaders for the world. Though the purpose is the language and its promotion, but through that you are creating people of influence in the future. I think that's what is required for a university to do. I'm very happy about that aspect as well. I don't want to prolong because the time is short. I think it's already, the time is going too much. So let me stop at this moment, but I would like to offer you my greetings from a people like me, scientists who are working in rockets, still have a fascination for languages and arts and those knowledges that existed in this country for so many years. I have been a humble learner of what I can in my spare time, though my primary job still continue to be the rocket building and scientific activity. I still keep my interest live in learning the language, learning the ancient sciences and connect between these two, and also to propagate what I can through this medium of languages and science, and also talk to young people to understand what our nation did in the past and take pride about it, and also work towards committing yourself to propagate it, preserve it for years to come. Jai Bharat. And I also wish you, the university and the graduates who are passing out, great future. I think that is needed on this day when you are getting graduated. They become Dikshants today. I think you need to have the blessings of your parents, your teachers, your gurus, your well-wishers, and your journey will not go fruitless. I am very sure about it. With the blessings, all of them, you will gain great heights. My blessings to you once again. Thank you so much for all your blessed wishes and wish you all the very best. Thank you.